What does freedom mean to Nicole?
Honestly, freedom is being yourself, being you, being your authentic self. I know the word authentic, I feel like it's used all the time, but
I love it.
truly coming back to your heart and who you are. I feel like so many of us get lost and we don't know truly who we are. So, freedom is finding your way home.
Freedom doesn't happen by accident, it's built. Welcome to Freedom by Design, where we explore what it really takes to create more freedom in your life, your business, and your relationships. We're Josh and Paula Kirpin, and this is intentional living done right.
I want to just ask you, what has been the biggest challenge of starting this brand up, like in terms of, design or logistics? I know you had some issues with fabric initially, just the industry itself. Like, talk a little bit about what the challenges have been like.
It's really like not knowing anything about it.
Ah, right?
Like I never, if you said, "Hey Nicole, you're going to be designing clothes." I'd be like, "You're out of your mind. There's no way." I didn't go to school for that. I didn't study design. I love fashion, but I never would have thought. And so taking on something, this is a beast to me. Like taking on this beast, I know nothing, but I also am very good at delegation. Some
Yes.
people struggle in that department, but I am like, no, here, delegate, 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 delegate. Because you kind of got to stick in your lane sometimes. Like I'm the leader, the visionary, and I don't know how to design. So I'm going to hire someone that can help me with that and that can
Yeah.
bring the vision to fruition that way. So I had to go out and look for a designer and hire a designer and work with a designer. And then I had to go out and look for manufacturers. I don't know who's good. I don't know who's going to do a good job. And I don't know if it should be offshore or in Canada. Like these are all decisions I've had to make and
Hmm.
decisions I've had to recently pivot on. But it's like you don't know what you don't know until you start immersing yourself in the process and just learning as you go. And this entire journey has been a learning as I go. And you know what? Like you got to start somewhere. So I'm learning about design and fit and fabric. Fabric is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I put a lot of pressure on finding the fabric because that's my entire brand
Hmm.
is the fabric, and free of microplastics, free of toxic dyes, free of heavy chemicals, has all of the right certifications, but also feels like activewear.
Yeah.
It feels like it's holding you in and not constricting you. It feels buttery soft and not like kind of stuffy. There's so many things to think about. And I want to build something with complete intention. I'm not just going to throw any fabric out there and any sort of design just to get it launched right away. And so throughout this whole process, and now we're dealing with some things being held at customs and things like that in Vietnam. And it's like a whole thing. But I'm just grateful. Like at the end of the
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
when you start something new, you're learning. You have to just be okay with not knowing everything and delegating a lot and putting your trust in other professionals because, like,
Hmm.
my fabric mill, they know fabric, they know it very well. My
Yeah.
designer, she knows design very well. So I have to put trust in these other parties and just kind of like go with my gut and what feels good. I wouldn't say there's been any huge challenges that have wavered me.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, the financial bit was kind of like gave my husband like a low key heart attack, but
But
bless
like you
his
said, you just like there's money everywhere, right? And
yeah.
I had a lot of money mindset blocks like when I first
Mhm.
started my network marketing business, and I was just like, I don't know that I'm capable of earning X amount of dollars a month, right? So I had to work through that because I'm like, where did that come from? I had a limiting belief about money, and it came like from my parents were savers, right? Like my dad's dad was in the depression, and so they literally like were almost borderline hoarders, kept everything, right? Because any money that they had or anything that they had that was useful or could be reused, they would save. Right. So I grew up in an environment, I worked lots of jobs, but I saved all of my money and I was like petrified to use it. Right. I just would have this sock, which was fine, but I didn't really want to take any risk on or any kind of, putting myself out there and spending my money and having to start again because I was like, this is all that I have. Right. And then so I had to work through that and learn that there is an abundance of money in the world. And it's just the amount of value that you're adding is what you're going to receive in payment from the universe, right? And this is the cool thing I think about this brand, because there's so much fast fashion in the world now that they just spit out stuff so quickly. And the very first fabric swatch that you got, we were just talking about this before the call. She took it out on Instagram. She made a reel of it, and she was like, "Ugh!" Like it was just not what you wanted, right? So you were like, "Nope, back to the drawing board," and threw it out. And we were all like anticipating, or I was anticipating this fabric coming, and you figuring out the fabric so you could move on to the next step. But you're not rushing the process at all, because you know that what you have is unique, and you're adding value to women in so many different ways with this product. Whenever it hits the website, nobody knows the exact answer to that, but you're creating it in such a conscious way and staying true to your beliefs and your values for the brand, as opposed to just pushing something out and getting paid for it, right? Which I think just goes to show your solid mindset on money and value, and just the belief in the business, which I think is absolutely incredible.
Oh, yeah. And money mindset has been a huge thing for me too. I've come a very long way. It's still kind of, I have these like limiting, like money beliefs that creep in every now
Yeah.
and again. But for the most part, I've done so much work in this area because, and I even have changed my wording. Like, I will not say something is too expensive. I
Yeah.
will not say we can't afford it. And when I swipe my credit card, I'm like, this is coming back tenfold.
Yeah.
Like it's like these
Yeah.
little things that you tell yourself um, that like enables that belief that money is just energy and it's out there and we're worthy of as much as we want. And it's like our limiting beliefs around it that are keeping us really stuck in the same
Mm-hmm.
like cycle that we're in. And so, yeah, I've had to like go through a lot of money mindset stuff, probably for this moment right here with Petal Fever and kind of putting out that upfront investment into
Right.
it. But I know like it doesn't matter how much I put in because it's all going to be so amazing. Like you
Mm-hmm.
just have that belief it's going to come back tenfold. It's going to help so many lives. Like, gosh, how often are people looking at the backs of, the food in the store and they're looking at the ingredients lists and they're looking at their skincare and they're looking at like what they put in their bodies. But are we looking at our fabric tags?
No, I mean, I think that's such an incredible point, and something that we just overlook, and it's something that's on us like 24/7. Like you wear some piece of fabric every day of your life, and very rarely have I ever looked at a tag, unless I can't really wear wool. So I'll look for like a wool because I get really itchy, but other than that, like I don't look where it's from. I don't look what the fabric percentages are, or where they might source their fabric or whatever. You don't, right? And so I think that's a very great point, because we do it for so many other things, and our skin is our largest organ on our body. So if that's what we're absorbing all day every day, like, you think we would take a quick little peek at the tag, but we really don't.
Oh, and then when you think about activewear, like those leggings that you're in all day and you're sweating in and moving in, and like all the juices are just really flowing. It's like
Yeah.
like that is like right up against your skin. Those
Right. Yep.
microplastics are
That's
going
right.
right in there. And
Yeah.
I've been so careful with this because I don't want to like fear monger, but I just want to raise awareness. We're so like aware with what we're putting in our bodies in terms of food and nutrition and all
Sure.
the things. And it's like I feel like clothing is just naturally the next thing. And I feel like in 10, 15 years to come, clothing is going to look a lot different. Like we're
Yeah.
just at the beginning right now. So I'm going to really take advantage of being at the start of it. And it's just like making more conscious choices now. It's not getting rid of everything in your closet, but it's instead of looking at a price tag on clothing, look at the fabric composition first
Yeah.
and then either like, okay, it's a yes or a no, right? And so, yeah, I'm just trying to raise awareness around it because it is impacting our health and our longevity and our hormones, our infertility. You wouldn't believe the amount of DMs I've been getting on Instagram from women who have hormone induced breast cancer. And they're like, thank you for doing this. Like, this is something that is so needed.
Wow. That's
Hmm.
incredible, Nicole. Like you said, raising awareness and just educating, which I think is so important. And think about how many people, which I feel like I'm kind of in that stage or almost like perimenopause or menopausal, and everybody is sharing their symptoms. And, maybe that they were there to some degree decades ago, 3 decades ago. But now I feel like everybody is so aware of how they feel, like you said, what they're putting in their body, the skincare they're using, but not thinking about their leggings that they're wearing every single day as their mom uniform, right? But like you said, right close to the skin, what are we absorbing through there? How is that impacting our hormones? I think that's such an incredible piece of it, is the education and awareness that's coming with what you're doing, which is just so cool. I want to just touch on quickly because lots of the people who listen to the podcast and that follow my socials and probably yours are mothers. And I think sometimes it's hard for moms to imagine setting a goal for themselves or, having a desire for themselves that's not their kids, creating their own identity or recreating it, let's say, since they become a mother. So I love what you said about delegating a little bit of what you're doing with Petal Fever, because I think sometimes we can look at people who are pursuing goals and say, well, like she's a mom, like how's she doing it all? Like how do you manage it all that stuff on your plate, that mental load, right, that we all carry. So what would you say to any listeners who are moms who are just kind of struggling with the concept of wanting something or having a goal? Like how would you encourage them to move through that and get that desire and pull through that and have something for themselves?
That's a good question. And moms are superheroes. I
Aren't
feel
they?
like, yes,
Yeah.
and motherhood changes you. It's almost like when I had the kids, I became like this superhuman that could do anything. I don't know. When you become a mom, you're so very efficient. You're thinking about things before they even happen. You're
Yeah.
anticipating a lot. Like things are working and you're moving. And I mean, there's like, there's good and bad with that because sometimes we go too much and we burn out and we're exhausted and we're not pouring into ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Because we're go, go, go with the kids and the family and managing a household. Like, my gosh, just the things the house needs, it can get out of control.
Yeah.
But I think if you're mom and you have a goal and you have a dream and you want something for you, you need to ask for help because you
Love
cannot
it.
do it all. And this has been
Yes.
like my biggest lesson in this season of life because we were chatting with this before we started recording, but I'm embarking on homeschool in September. And so I'm going to be homeschooling both my kids. And I often think, and these are limiting beliefs coming in. I also often think, oh, how can I do that? Like, I can't do that. I'm building a business. How am I going to make this all work? You just do. And you utilize the help that is around you
Hmm.
and the resources you have around you. So for me, it's like I've really had to step up and ask my parents to help a little bit more, which is really hard for me. And I
Yeah.
feel like these are things that I need to continue to work on. And I've heard it's just a common narrative of moms have a hard time asking for help. Maybe we think we can do everything ourselves, and that's like
Hmm.
some sort of childhood wound. I don't know. But
Yeah.
like that, you can ask for help, you can delegate. It's very powerful. Nothing has to be perfect. And pouring into you is like the most important thing you can do. Like if
Hmm.
you need 10 minutes a day just to do a breath work exercise, and maybe that's all you have because your kids are young, they're really demanding. There's a lot at the younger years that needs your attention. If you can dedicate 10, 15 minutes a day to doing like breath work or a meditation, that could change everything. It doesn't have to be this lengthy thing, but it's something for you where you can be still, where you can quiet your mind, where you can like focus on you for a minute. And that's going to project you forward in like wherever you want to go and whatever dream or goal you want to achieve.
Hmm.
Because sometimes you need that space, like I said before, that space and that time to really like sit with yourself and figure out, okay, how are we going to make this work? How's this all going to come together? And then, yeah, if you are lucky enough to have help around you, utilize it. And the worst anyone could say is no, but you get
Exactly.
to ask, right?
Yeah.
If you've been listening to this podcast, you already know something. You're built for more. The 100X Breakthrough Program is built for leaders, business owners, and growth-driven individuals who are ready to stop playing at the edge of their potential and start operating at a completely different level. If you know you're capable of more, but you're still stuck, this is your next step. Let's schedule an instant impact coaching session and see if the 100X Breakthrough Program is the right fit for you. Go to kznsolutions.ca. That's kznsolutions.ca.
And I found, because I had a similar situation as you, like I used to be a nurse, so I stepped away from my nursing career to stay home with my kids. And I did that when they were all young and little, and I was homeschooling, and we have a farm as well. So like lots of things on the plate, juggling lots of balls. But I wasn't doing anything for myself. And what I found was my resentment built towards my husband who got to go out and do the thing. So I had some resentment built up towards him, and I just felt very lost. And I remember like one of my mentors a couple weeks ago said to me that women go through so many identity shifts in their life. Like you literally change like your personality and your identity so many times during your life because we go through having children and being in that stage where your kids are so little and then they're bigger and then they leave and part of your heart is out in the world, like all those stages, right? But she said one of the most important things was that you always had something for yourself. And I know we've talked lots about business today, but it doesn't have to be something where you're building a multi-million-dollar clothing empire. But it can be just something, maybe you want to learn how to play the guitar. And maybe that's the purpose that's going to, fulfill you in that stage of life that you're in. Amazing. Maybe you want to run half a marathon. Go for it, right? And who can you ask to help juggle those balls so that you can take 20 minutes a day, 10 minutes, like Nicole said, half an hour, whatever that looks like. It doesn't have to be a massive amount of time. But when I pursued something for myself in that season, I completely changed. Like my energy was different, my attitude was different, my outlook on life was different, how I parented my kids was different. And like we were talking about at the start of the call, Nicole's kids are now watching her build this dream. And they now have a dream to be able to build something like mom because she is exuding this positive energy. She's taking care of herself. She's stretching her mind. She's doing something out of her comfort zone. And they're watching that, right? So I always say to moms, like, there's always a way to find some time to take care of yourself. And the payback and investment when you put it into yourself is going to come into your kids tenfold because they're going to watch you do and pursue what you love, and they're going to be encouraged to do the same thing. I think it's really crucial. It's very important to do that as a mother because, like you said, we can always find a different way for help to come in or to delegate to somebody or drop something and move it to another time or manage all the things that we have on our plate because moms they're superheroes. They take care of so much of the load of the household and the parenting and the kids, and it's just such an incredible thing. So you are worthy. You deserve to take care of yourself and to pursue whatever it is that you want to pursue, and it's really necessary in my opinion. And I think it's just been such a great conversation with you, Nicole. I have two quick questions to ask you at the end because I know you have a couple other meetings today. But what does your daily habits look like to keep your mindset as strong as it is? Is there anything that you do consistently every day to kind of keep your belief strong and your vision aligned with your brand and your life?
Yes, I have daily rituals that I'm
Yes,
obsessed with.
I knew you would.
Yeah,
I knew you would.
I'm such a ritual girl, and I just want to preface this by saying it looks different every day because of the kids and because of life. Sometimes I have to cut things out or things are shorter than anticipated, but at the end of the day, it comes back to mindset. My feathers aren't ruffled if I can't get my ritual in when I want to get it in. You just do your best with what you have. And so I'm such an early person, like an early bird, and I love waking up before the rest of my family because I need some time and some space. I actually thrive when I'm alone. I love being alone.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where I can pour back into me. And that's where all my creative ideas come is when I'm alone. And so I love to find pockets of the day where I can find some alone time. So when the kids are sleeping, that's when I am waking up and I am doing a workout. And that's usually like weightlifting or Pilates. I'll go between the both because health and fitness is so important to me. And when I feel strong and good in my body, I'm strong and good in my mind. It's all connected. And so I'll do a workout and then I will sit down and I will listen to some frequencies or some affirmations, and I will just journal. And sometimes that's like a very basic gratitude journal, because I think it's so important to show gratitude every single day. That just raises your vibration. And so I'll do a gratitude journal, or I'll do a page of, I have a couple like different journaling rituals where I'll say at the top, everything on this page that I write down comes true. And then I'll write like everything that I want to come true, like every
Love
dream,
it.
every like big or small, it doesn't matter. Sometimes I'll script. I don't know if you've heard of scripting before.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's like
Yeah.
picking a day in the future and journaling about like you're in that day now and how it feels and what's going on. So that's like a manifestation practice that I have. But ultimately, I'll pick something between those three things.
Mhm.
Sometimes I also like, if my mindset is not right and I am festering on something, I'll like rage journal just to get something out, whether it's maybe a money issue and I'm really frustrated at this, I'll rage journal it out. And that's really therapeutic too. So that's another journal practice I have. But journaling is, for me, so important. I think everyone should do it. That's just me. But
Yeah.
it is like so therapeutic and so powerful when you put words to paper. So we work out, we journal, kids are probably up. But then my evening routine is like, I will always meditate right before bed. I will sit up and I will meditate. And I don't do any guided meditations anymore. I used to when I was first starting, but now I just kind of like sit without
Mhm.
music, without any guided meditations. And I just sit, and whatever comes in, comes in. So that's really important to me. And then somewhere in the day, I have to walk. Walking is like a non negotiable. Like I have to do my nature walk, because I call them CEO walks with myself, because it is
Yeah.
seriously like where all my ideas come in. And I'll either walk without anything in my ears, or I'll have an activation. Have you heard of activations before?
I don't know if I have.
Okay. I love activations. So there's an app called Activations. I think there's like, you can get a week or two for free to trial
Mhm.
it. But this woman founded this app, Mimi Bouchard. She's amazing. And what they are is, instead of meditations, they're activations. So you can do them when you're walking, when you're cooking dinner, when you're cleaning
Mm.
the house, you can have them on in the car. And it's a combination of cinematic music and words to get you in a feeling. So
Okay.
when I had the whole idea of Petal Fever, when I was on my walk, I was listening to an activation. And it like, if you're wanting to feel more confident, there's an activation for that. Or if you're wanting to feel like your future self, there's an activation for that. Or if you're wanting to feel like a certain type of way. She's got thousands of them. Best money I've ever spent
Mm.
is
That's so
listening to
cool.
these activations on my walk, because they just get me in this feeling of main character energy.
Yeah.
And you could be having, a shitty day and put one of these on, and you're instantly like feeling it, like in a different space. Like you're just like, yeah, it changes you from a bad state to a really magnetic, empowered state. So my walk is non-negotiable, because it's totally my therapy, my mental health. I have to walk. And oftentimes my husband will be like sitting down at the end of the night, and I'll be like maybe a little cranky, and he's like, "Did you walk today?" And I'll be like, "Oh no, I did not." He's like, "Would you want to go walk?" Like, but I seriously need to walk. And so once I start homeschooling the kids, I'm really going to have to figure out when I can
Yeah.
find the time to walk alone. But you find it, you figure it
You
out,
do.
right? It's like
Yeah.
simple, like daily rituals that are non-negotiables for me, that help me just get in the right mindset. That, some of them are manifestation, some of them are therapy and healing, and just being present and pouring into myself.
And I love that they're just so simple. Like if people always ask me, there must be like this laundry list of things you do to be successful or to pursue your passion, to have the right mindset. And I often tell people success is really boring. Like you do the same things every day, but it's that mundane activity that sets your mind right. And I want to speak to I have to look up this activation thing. I think that's so cool because whatever you listen to goes into your subconscious, right? So if you're listening to 2000s rap music, like I will not judge because sometimes when you're working out, you need a little bit of a boost. But I've really noticed that depending on the type of podcast I listen to or the music, activations, when you're meditating, obviously it's a little bit different because you're sedentary. But when you're doing that, it's going into your subconscious, whether you think it is or not, it is, right? And so that can totally affect and change the mindset that you have for the entirety of the rest of your day. So Josh and I are both morning ritual people. Like we do the same thing every morning. We get up at different times. We do the same thing. Now I can get up before my kids. So when my kids were little, I would do it kind of whenever I had a second, like you said, a quick 10-minute breath work, or I would go downstairs and do a meditation quickly or something, right? And I used a lot of my phone for even just leaving myself a voice note instead of journaling because I didn't have time to sit and write when your kids are so little. It's just something, right? And you get yourself into that routine of doing something for yourself. And as you said, it can be really a short amount of time. It doesn't have to be 2 hours and you wake up at the morning to do it. Like that doesn't have to be the case if that's not the season of life you're in. So I love that. There's so many cool tools that you can use now. You talked about scripting in our coaching course. We do a self-image script and we record it. You record it in your own voice on the Parrot app. And essentially you just talk about your future self when you've already achieved that goal that you want. So you would do it, when you're a $2 million in sales owner of the Petal Fever brand, and you would have that. What would your day look like? What would you be wearing? How would you be getting to work? Where would you be going? Are you traveling? What are your kids doing? All those things. And you make it as detailed as possible. And then you have that in your ears first thing in the morning and last at night. And it's really powerful when, again, it's going into your subconscious. So it's now that story that you're telling yourself instead of the limiting belief that you had. You are now replacing it with the self-image script. So super quickly, one-liner. What does freedom mean to Nicole?
One-liner.
I mean, like, yeah.
Okay.
Well, you and I aren't one-liner people, but yes.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, freedom is being yourself, being you, being your authentic self. I know the word authentic, I feel like it's used all the time, but truly coming back to your heart and who you are. I feel like so many of us get lost and we don't know truly who we are. So freedom is finding your way home.
I love it. Oh my gosh, that was pretty good. That was not quite a one-liner, but it was pretty good.
I love that. More words all the time.
Authentic is, people are always like, oh, what does that mean? But truly, I know what you mean by that. When you feel something so deeply to your core that you know that it's you, that is your authentic self. And I just think that freedom goes along with that just perfectly. So where can my listeners find you if they want to follow along on your journey?
So primarily Instagram at Petal Fever Co. You can give me a follow. That's where I hang out and that's where my community is. That's where I'm sharing about the decisions and what's going on. I also am on TikTok, which was really hard for me to do because I feel like it's so not my generation, but I also want to just reach as many women as I can. And I'm like, ultimately, I'm just going to have to get TikTok. So again, Petal Fever on TikTok. And then I do have a podcast. It's called The Slow Lane. That's where you can also tune in to weekly updates on what's going down with Petal Fever, highs and lows, challenges, wins. I'm sharing every single thing. So yeah, a few different ways, but that's where you can find me.
We will make sure we put those handles in the show notes so you guys can follow along with Nicole. But it is one of my favorite accounts to follow because she really, truly does show the good, the bad, and the ugly, and all the great things too, which has just been so fun to watch. So thank you so much, Nicole, for joining me today. I feel like we could have probably talked for many more hours, but we are rooting you on over here always. And yeah, maybe we'll have to get her back for a second episode because I feel like she's got a lot of important wisdom and mindset nuggets that she could share with everybody. So I appreciate your time, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Paula. I feel like we could talk about marriage. We could talk about motherhood. We could talk there's a million
business, all the things. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do another episode and figure out some other things to dive into.
Let's do it. It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Before we go, I just want to leave you guys with one thing. We kind of heard Nicole talk about the fear that she carried, the limiting beliefs kind of before Petal Fever came to fruition. And what I want you guys to notice is she's on the other side of that fear now. And it's not necessarily because the fear has disappeared. The fear will be there always. The limitations will be there always. It's because she moved and took action while it was still there. And that's the part that nobody tells you is we don't get rid of the fear and then act. We just act first. And by taking that action, you start to shrink that fear and you start to build your belief. And belief isn't the ticket you buy before the ride. Belief is what you build by getting on and doing the thing. So Nicole is a perfect example of that. And I want you guys to take that example into your week. And if any of you have had an idea that you've been sitting on or something that you want to go and do, and you're the one that keeps telling yourself that you're going to, make this excuse and you're going to do it when things settle down or when you've got more time, when your kids are older, et cetera, et cetera. I just encourage you, and Nicole would too, to stop waiting till you're ready. You just need to take the first step. One small step is fine. It doesn't have to be massive, but some incremental step every day to work towards your goals is really what matters. So commit to your goal, commit to that worthy ideal, start building your desire, and let all that readiness catch up to you. We've had a phenomenal conversation with Nicole, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week and you find lots of value in this episode. And we will see you next time.
We appreciate you being part of Freedom by Design. If this conversation added value, help us spread the love. Take a second to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. The more intentional we become, the more freedom we create in our homes, our work, and our future. We'll see you next time. God bless.